I worked at AFTV. We just lost 1-0 to Newcastle here at St James's Park.
Yeah.
I remember my friend, I saw you last year and I had the same thing. You guys said happy birthday. It wasn't today, it's yesterday. And you said the same thing last year and we lost the game 1-0. It's like deja vu, it's frustrating. But I want to ask this to both of you and then we'll get into it. But let's start with, where are you at now when it comes to league aspirations? Do you think Arsenal go on and can claw this back, or do you think it's too far gone, is it?
I think we can still crawl it back. In the first half of the league, you just have to make sure you're in the running, you're challenging. And then the second half, you go on a run and then you'll be a title contender. I think the problem is we've already gotten our back six formed such that we don't ship in a lot of goals from the back four and the two defensive midfielders. But we need to find a number 10 and a number 8 that can unlock the channels. Saka and Martinelli need to leave zone 1 and zone 7 and come into zone 2, zone 5, zone 3, where they can cause a lot of havoc.
But we have that with Martin Odegaard, right? He's just not available.
He's injured.
Yeah.
And the problem is the Trossard experiment needs to stop. He's not making those telling passes. He's more likely to cut the ball and try and curve the ball in. And he got all his shots blocked today. We need somebody who can hold on to the ball and attract defenders that causes a shuffle, and then there will be channels and opening for people. The moment Jorginho and Zinchenko came in, I know they were in the back, but when they came in, Newcastle couldn't come out. I think the coach needs to be a little more aggressive and creative. And
why? So are you saying he should have made them changes earlier? Because Zinchenko coming on surely was to involve him into that midfield, to invert, to try and unlock that space. Because that midfield battle, we were non-existent.
My take on it is, you already have Rice, Mourinho, Saliba, Timber, Gabriel and Ben White, or Partey. That's a back six that will win you games.
Yes, correct.
Get creative up front until Odegaard comes back. Try Nwaneri. If you're not confident about it, you have a Jorginho, you have a Zinchenko. Zinchenko plays 10 in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Play that. Try that. The Trossard experiment is not working.
But do you understand, just quickly, that Arteta, with the Ethan Nwaneri thing and experiment, do you understand he kept a lot of the tall players to start the game because of how tall Newcastle were? They won a lot of the aerial battles, Newcastle, fair enough, but he had to keep those tall players in. Because I agree with you. I want Ethan Nwaneri to start. I want him to go a bit more, exuberant up front because the defence is strong enough. But we also have to win the aerial battles, which we actually lost today. But
Trossard isn't tall, first of all.
Fair.
Trossard isn't tall.
So would you say, sorry, I was saying about Ethan Nwaneri not out for Trossard, but are you saying take him out for Trossard in that 10 then?
Exactly.
Okay,
the Trossard needs to stop. We need to get more creative with making passes. And all the cries for a striker, I'm not in for it, because if Havertz was in Newcastle, he would score that goal that Isaac scored. And if Isaac is playing for Arsenal, trust me, he's not going to get any passes.
Havertz scored a similar goal to that the other day.
Exactly. So all these cries for a striker, that's not where the problem is. The problem is we don't have a 10, we don't have an 8 that can unlock the likes of Martinelli and Saka. When Odegaard plays, you see Saka on the byline crossing the ball in. But we had none of that because we don't have a number 10, we don't have a number 9 that can make those telling passes. Put Jorginho up there. The moment Jorginho got in, the first thing he did was make a telling pass to Havertz. Throughout the game, I was watching Havertz. He was always in between the centre backs. He was always making telling runs and coming back, telling runs and coming back, and no one saw him. Even Marino was making the same passes, runs. We don't have players that can look up and say, somebody's about to make that run, attack that space, I'm throwing the ball into that space. That's where your Odegaard, that's where your Fabregas, that's where your Dennis Bergkamp comes in. And you need somebody with that amount of brain acumen to make those kind of telling runs. Zinchenko and Jorginho. I would put one of those two as number 10.
In the 10? Wow.
Yes. Okay. And see what happens. Because they know how to keep the ball till the defender comes, and they know how to release the ball quickly. You pass that kind of ball to Jorginho, the ball's over the top, Havertz free on goal. The coach needs to stop playing safe.
Okay, I'm going to come to you and do the rest of the interview with my friend over here. But before I finish, are you saying, just to finish, Ethan Nwaneri, over starting him, you'd rather see Jorginho or Zinchenko?
I would rather a player that has many years of experience
Okay.
in the start.
Okay.
First
Fair.
half till the 65th minute, and then when the players are tired, then you bring a youngster that's so fast, the other team cannot really play them. That's how you play a team. If I'm starting the game and I'm fast and you bring in Wanyeri plays with the ball to his leg. He makes shimmies and runs that makes it difficult for the other player to get him. But when it's the start of the game, other players are fast enough to take him out. But when your legs are tired and then Wanyeri comes in, you are in trouble.
Okay, thank you very much. I wanted to just hear that because if Wanyeri, when he came on, his first thought was look up and try and dribble and find a pass forward. But you're right, experience over that. Season over for you or not? I know it's early. That sounds such a damning statement. But is it difficult to claw back from this position?
Well, so I will just tell you something. This was a shambolic performance I've ever seen from Arsenal this season, and I think these boys needs to go on drawing board, and probably they need to see where things are not connecting, and they need to react about this game. It was total shambolic. There was no composure, there was no creativity, there was no control of the ball. Everything was really, really cracked down from the start to the end. So the performance was the poorest I've ever seen from Arsenal, probably maybe for the last season and this season. So I wouldn't say the title is gone, but I would say someone needs to come and step up, because this kind of performance is not acceptable from Arsenal Football Club.
Okay. Thank you very much, my friend.